Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Comedian Video Game Commentary. I'm here with Gad to the Bone, Gad Holland himself. So, fellas, come on in, get on camera, get on the microphone. Welcome back, guys. This is the official season 2 premiere of Comedian Video Game Commentary. I am your host facilitator, Hayward Hal Crawford. I'm a comedy writer and producer, Michigan native, currently here by way of Los Angeles, California, and we're back. And what is Comedian Video Game Commentary? What do these sad lives of the comedians have to do with video games? All right. Well, it kind of started almost about 2 years ago. About 2 years ago this fall, we had a group called Script Sundays TV, a comedy troupe originally started in Detroit. And then it was kind of revived in LA. It was kind of like an LA Detroit hybrid. So a lot of different series, a lot of different micro sketches and kind of projects within that comedy troupe umbrella. And one of the offshoots of that was Comedian Video Game Commentary. So myself and actually Gad Holland here, we did our first episode fall of 2022. Did a couple more episodes going into winter spring of 2023. So now we're back again, season 2, and we're just here to kind of just sort of like just chop it up on everything video games. One's from the past, one's from the present. Ones we played as a kid, some that we maybe can't stand today, or maybe a lot of people playing them, or maybe we got addicted to it. So we're gonna chop it up and talk about these video games. We're gonna talk about what we're playing right now. We'll play, some consoles or actual stuff we're playing. And if we're not really playing video games, but there's still some ones we like, we'll just throw up a screen share of the games that are recorded or being shown right now. So yeah, I'd like to introduce the fellas. How you doing, Gad? John, welcome.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good.
Awesome. So, John, I'll flip it to you real quick. Just kind of just give us just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your role. So you're a comedy writer, and we, met through a couple mutual friends. So, floor is yours. Just give us your, general intro, for the audience.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me here today. I was born and raised in Inglewood, California. Name's John Brown. I go by many nicknames, but that's the one that sticks. Everybody online knows me as Champagne Cena over on Instagram. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. We met through an actual comedy show where they would basically show movies from the past and have comedians, talk about it for about a few minutes, debate whether it's this or that. So yeah, this is very on brand for me.
Love it. All right. And we got some hits. We got some interesting, spicy video games we're about to get into from a comedic, comedy standpoint. And Gad, welcome back, sir. We did our first couple batches of episodes together. So why don't you go ahead and just maybe reintroduce the audience to you and what you do.
Name's Gad Holland, born and raised in Detroit. We met through a mutual friend. I've been doing stand-up since 2009, so I guess it's like 15 years in. Big old fan of video games, so this just works for me. Anytime I could just talk freely about games and stuff, I'm always down. And been, that's where I've been, and I'm still here in the Detroit area, maybe doing a move soon on a career thing, but that's maybe soon. But yeah, that's what I'm doing here in Detroit, telling jokes and playing games. That's what I'm pretty much it, man.
Playing games.
We
playing
games and playing games. Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah.
I love it. All right, fellas, we're about to get into it. Once again, those of you guys who are listening, subscribe, hit that like button. Share the content if you find this is entertaining. We are streaming currently on YouTube and Twitch. We had a little Rumble sync issue, so we will be uploading next day this live stream to our Rumble channel, and we will be streaming on Kick starting next live stream. And then, of course, we'll have Instagram and TikTok updates coming up. All right, so John, if you would be so kind, go ahead and I'm gonna flip it to you. Make sure you record on your iPhone, and I'll. What is your first choice, sir?
Well, my first choice is the latest edition of WWE 2K24.
Okay, let me
Uh,
go ahead and hold on. Let me. All right,
ooh, you're
cool.
getting to the
So is
juicy
this it
stuff.
here?
Yes, this is it right
All
here.
right, break this down. My uncle was a big wrestling fan. I kind of grew up with that in the household, you know. So yeah, go ahead, chop us up about this. What we got here?
All right, well, right now we got the main event of WrestleMania 40, in my mind. Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. We were probably the most, popular superstar of all time. I
Yeah,
grew up a John Cena fan, so it's kind of like, I'm taking out that ruthless aggression on him playing as Cody Rhodes. But yeah, basically right now we got ourselves a Extreme Rules match. As you can see, we have to throw Rocky through a table and
nice.
got to help Cody finish his story here at WrestleMania. But I'll tell you this, I'm playing on legendary difficulty and he is not easy to beat at all. But yeah, we had ourselves a good matchup and we entertained, the millions and millions of virtual fans all around the world watching this.
Mm.
hmm
Okay.
So
Yeah, so it's like, man, because looking back, like, how would you compare like sort of the WWE era? Would you kind of grew up more of like with it in the 2000s, right? Like John Cena was
yes.
part of that wave. You know, I was kind of more of the 90s, like Rock with the Fro, Undertaker, all those guys. Hulk Hogan was still in the mix, but yeah. So were you kind of like, was it The Rock versus John Cena? If you had to pick one, it was John Cena all the way.
Always, always. They even had a match at WrestleMania 28, and I was literally heartbroken the next day at school when he lost at WrestleMania 28. I was like, it was almost like seeing your favorite team losing the Super Bowl on a buzzer beater. But
Mm,
yeah, what was funny about that too was growing up, I used to like hate stars like Edge and Randy Orton. They were like the biggest villains of like all time. Like on TV, everybody just doing nefarious, diabolical activities. And I
mhm,
was always cheering guys like John Cena, Daniel Bryan and all them. But like now I've kind of gotten back into it because like, they have new creative and I usually watch for the writing now more so than like
mhm.
the athletic spectacle. And now it's like the guys I used to hate growing up, I like respect them a lot more now because, at the end of the day, they're just doing their job and they're doing their job really good. They have me yelling at the TV against them.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So, Gad, what about you? Were you big wrestling fan growing up, or
I wa-
what was your
yeah, I
WrestleMania
was.
video game?
I'm a bit older than John here, so I was an Attitude era
Mm,
guy. So everyone you named, so the mid late '90s, early 2000s, that was my bag. And but I don't know what happened in my, like on social media. If you click
mhm,
on one thing out of curiosity, it becomes whatever your whole algorithm is. So
mhm,
I clicked on one wrestler interview, and now my whole social media is just old wrestlers giving interviews. And I've been learning about. I missed this entire gap, like how John Cena is your favorite wrestler. In my mind, John Cena is some new guy, and he's retired. So, but in my mind, he's like some new guy. So that entire branch from like like '07 to now is just a blank for me. But it's fun seeing this and seeing who's there now because wrestling was once I graduated high school and I was in college, I stopped remembering to watch wrestling because my Monday nights were busy. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things like if I'm going through the channels and it's on, then that's what I'm watching today, even though I have no idea who these guys are now. It The weird thing is a lot of these personalities, if I'm watching like a different promotion that's not WWE, it seems like everybody's being a shitty Shawn Michaels. Am I the one that does notice that? I was at a bar and wrestling was on the television, and I looked up and I saw like 10 super kicks, and they all had the long hair and pants. I was like, they all look like bad versions of Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, the super
mm,
kick's kind of been everybody's finishing move nowadays, but like it's not even a finisher anymore. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's just a
it's just
move. It turned into the
yeah.
DDT. I remember when I was a kid, the DDT was the most devastating thing on the planet. And now it's a mid move. It's an open in this match where you fighting the Rock. That's the first move of this whole fight.
mhm.
This match here is the opening move is a swinging DDT.
That's true.
91, that person would have been dead.
What
Oh
I like
man.
Now, like, what? Tell me about because I remember the Shawn Michaels era, just the long hair don't care, But he was even before he came after Ric Flair. Ric Flair was more the '80s sort of thing.
Yeah.
And do they still have things such as there's always those fold-out chairs? I don't know, that's more of a '90s.
Oh yeah,
I
they still got those chairs.
Fold-out chairs.
Oh yeah,
you'll see one in this match. That's for sure.
That was a classic.
Yeah, they're under. I've just been watching the gameplay. Like, there's one. I guess there's an option to reach under the apron and grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. They still doing chair shots and stuff. But they've changed stuff from Attitude Era. People was getting pinged in the head. This was Attitude Era was before CTE was like a thing.
Yeah. Nobody told Mankind. That's for sure.
Yeah. No one. Yeah. And so I've been watching like a lot of interviews. Like the Undertaker's been giving really good interviews. And he was giving some about chair shots, and he was hitting forehead with a chair.
Yeah, and he was giving out receipts that they.
And it was. I saw like a montage of him cracking people with chairs, and it's been in the same direction. That was one big difference between. I want to say like the golden era. I think that was like the mid to early '90s, and Attitude Era was the chair shots, because in Attitude Era you was getting hit face, top of the head with a chair, and before that they would hit you like in the meat.
No, there go a chair right there. All right.
Yeah, it's a chair on the screen. So they would hit you. Yeah, they would hit you like in the meat part of the. So it didn't. This doesn't really hurt if you get hit with a chair. Yeah. But then they switched it to those face hits, and Attitude Era was a different thing. But Ruthless Aggression, you meant like I didn't know Ruthless Aggression was actually said out loud.
Oh, John Cena was the first one to coin it.
Did it? I just saw that clip. Maybe like again, my algorithms is just wrestling clips now, so I'll just be going. So that's how I found out stuff. And this was like John Cena's debut. Was that?
Yeah, 2002 against like Kurt Angle. It was
he came out in them. I think I know what the future looks like shorts.
Yeah,
they were like shiny biker shorts. It was before the jeans and it was before all of that. Before he was a rapper, he was like prototype.
Yeah.
And he came out, and I think Kurt Angle was just challenging anybody in the back to come out. And then John Cena walks out, and then they have a conversation, and the punchline was Ruthless Aggression. He just starts beating up Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And that starts the Ruthless Aggression era, which the title sounds scarier than what it. In my mind, Ruthless Aggression was the Attitude Era. That's just the wording.
Yeah, I was about to ask about. I was actually about to ask about Raw. Now, Raw was right along the same lines of Attitude Era, or was Attitude right after Raw?
Well, Raw is the Attitude Era.
Yeah, that was like Stone Cold, The Rock, D-Generation X. Yeah, like that was Attitude Era. Like they only had one show per week, was just Raw. Mm-hmm. So at that point,
once SmackDown came around, that was when I wasn't around in wrestling. Like I was deep in classes at that point.
Mm.
But Raw is essentially the Attitude. Even the colors, everything was black and red. So like the colors, the colors, the logo, everything was black and red, and like that's all Attitude. I remember when they had before they really went over to WWE when they were in that lawsuit with the World Wildlife Foundation.
Oh yeah, WWF. I didn't even know that was a thing until the lawsuit.
Oh, WWF,
Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
So they lost an acronym battle with the World Wildlife Foundation, and they had they were running ads about the rebrand, and it was
why they switched.
Yeah. A panda. A panda literally took the F out.
A panda. It was a panda. They lost. Wrestling lost to a panda.
The panda was cold.
And they had you had the two W's and the little F coming off the letter. And when they had to take the two lines off the back of the W, they had a whole campaign called "Get the F Out" to rebrand and make it WW like World Wrestling Entertainment. It was a lot of lawyers were involved in renaming this company.
Yeah, I will say this though: whoever made the idea of like having a World Wildlife Fund T-shirt with a panda holding a steel chair, I hope they're getting their money right there because
somebody did that.
Yeah, somebody did that. I don't think the World Wildlife Fund, is getting anything from it, but it's out there. You can probably find it on
That's funny.
Timo. It's funny. It's a funny
That's
shirt.
funny. That's definitely funny. A panda with a steel chair. That's or a belt. That would be really funny.
Oh my gosh. See, whoever's listening now, they're just gonna jump right on Etsy and just start using ideas. I love it.
Go for it. I like weird stuff. I got a buddy that does shirts, and I hit him up in the middle of the night with an idea. I'm like, hey, look, I need a brown hoodie with the character from Tailspin on it. And just send me the bill. And I've been, yeah, Tailspin. You know, because I'm a pilot, so it works. Yeah. And I've been wearing it at the airport, and like commercial guys been stopping me in TSA, like, I like your hoodie. So I just have weird hoodie ideas. I have like just on some other like anime stuff. I got Bleach hoodies I had made, and all different kinds of content. I want to do a hoodie of every cartoon pilot. So I'm gonna try to do Crash and Launchpad and SWAT Cats sometime this year. Get those and email my guy and get those made soon.
Oh, that's sick. And it'll be one of a kind too.
Oh yeah. No one else. Yeah. And he makes like good, decent, like really decent stuff. So once it gets colder and I can start getting it back into my hoodie bag, I'm gonna get a bunch of those made.
Hey, great stuff. Hey, we those guys that are tuning in, shout out to that we have a couple people on the stream. Bedroom Candy by Lisha. Appreciate the comment. Also, the Premise Land, aka Teddy D. Welcome, good sir. Good to have you on. He has a question. He said, "I remember the shirts with on panda hitting another panda with a chair." Did he put question mark Baloo or Don Carnage? You know, is that Baloo from the Jungle Book? Who knows? You know?
It's Baloo from the Jungle Book, but it's Baloo from Tailspin, because you know, like Disney made all those cartoons, and they're all Jungle Book cartoons, but they just remixed them to have all those different cartoons when I was a kid. And Tailspin was my favorite one, and Baloo the bear from Jungle Book was the pilot. So he's a cargo pilot, and he just flies around and goes on adventures, and it's right up my alley from, you know, flying around myself. And it's a bear, so it's a fat black guy in a plane. It doesn't match any better than this. But yeah, definitely Baloo. So I got a hoodie with the plane on it and stuff.
I had one more thing about wrestling era. I wanted a question. Oh yeah. So tell me about. Cause I remember one of the biggest highlights from. I remember watching it. You know, because my uncle. You know, we were real close growing up. We watched it through like early '90s, probably early 2000s. He had since passed like around 2010s. But what was it like, the epicness of like back then? Like I remember Vince McMahon being like the founder, the owner.
Well, he's canceled now.
Yeah,
he's canceled now.
He being in all those sketches. And when did he kind of started? Was he still in the sketches up until recently? Because just sketches, as bad as acting was, and me being a little kid thinking that, wow, this is real. Like,
well, here's the thing: it wasn't acting to him. From now we know.
Yeah, but that was still some epic sort of fun man soap opera stuff. It's just like watching Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the best comments I ever saw that like personified wrestling, like even to now, it's like it's basically redneck anime, and I'm like, I'm all here.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
That's the.
You said what anime?
It's redneck anime.
Redneck anime. Okay, that's a bar.
Yeah, that's right. As soon as somebody said that, I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. But yeah, I think some of the sketches now are a little bit more tamed. You know, I want to say it's a little bit PC, but like actually there's a funny storyline going around. Like Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son, is in the business now, and he has like 2 women fighting over him in the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm like, this is something I could see at like 2:00 p.m. on like Channel 7. But like also I'm very engaged. Like, who's he gonna pick? Who's he really into? Like, is he really in love with Liv, or is he really in love with Rhea Ripley? We'll find out at SummerSlam when they fight for each other for him.
It is, wrestling does have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio Jr. being one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, his son being a heel is funny.
Yeah, but it works so well because
his son being a big old heel. It's just, I've been just swinging by whispers and stuff because I was watching Rey Mysterio's interview, and he's just such a good guy, and have his son be this crazy heel is funny. It's just seeing certain wrestlers in certain lights is fun. And I like thinking of, like, I was talking to my other buddy who's into wrestling, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, if he was wrestling today, he would be a heel. His character.
That's interesting. Like he's pro-American, right? He was like the
He's
real
super.
pro-American.
Like he would have a hat, everything.
Oh,
like just his personality, just with today's climate, it would be absolute heel turn.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, it's funny too, because like 10 years ago, if you were like a foreigner in there or something like that, like anybody like international, they would automatically make you a hate America heel.
Oh, they had terrorist characers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they had,
they
like,
really did. They
yeah.
have beat up the Undertaker too.
Especially
Yeah.
post 9/11. I'm sure the early 2000s, it was flooding through that.
Yeah. Oh my God, they could not
Right.
go through.
Hey guys, so also too, at Premise Land says Don Carnage was the leader of the Sky Pirates that gave Baloo and the crew trouble. The last time I watched wrestling, Sting looked like an aerobics teacher with a war paint on his face.
Oh, Surfer Sting. That got to be Surfer Sting right there.
And then finally he commented, wrestling is essentially a violent soap opera.
It is.
Which I agree.
It's just drama, yeah.
Exactly. Like I was thinking.
I never knew the pirates' names. That was my favorite cartoons guy. I never knew the pirates' names. But yeah, those are the pirates. That's the guy that gets the pineapple on his face in the opening theme song.
Might as well be a pie to the face as well.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, great.
Actually, you know what? A Don Carnage hoodie maybe.
That'd be hard.
I'm thinking red, maybe a black hoodie. I might.
You know what?
I probably have to put this whole squad on there.
Go at it, man.
Yeah, I could. That might be.
Get to work on that because the idea is only as good as whoever executes on it first. So,
that's right. He's French.
You might as well get on it. Get on it now. You heard it.
That's right. That wolf is French. It's Carnage. I forgot he's French.
Carnage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot. He's like a pirate. Yeah, he's a French. Yeah, I forgot about that. He's fancy. He's a fancy pilot. He's a swashbuckling pilot.
I identify as a pirate. My pronouns are R.
And matey.
All right. This is why we're on Rumble too. All right. Got a great share, John. I'm about to kick it over to Gad. So Gad, go ahead and see you got your pre-selection. If you could pull up one of your first video game picks. Do you need a minute?
Oh no, I don't need a minute.
Okay. Yeah,
I was just going with the theme of just nostalgia. So I was
just let me know once you got that pulled up. So once again, guys, you are watching Comedian Video Game Commentary. I'm your co-host, Hayward Hal Crawford. We currently live stream on Sundays and Fridays. And you can follow us at Comedian Video Game Commentary. We are on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, and then you can also follow a little clip and highlights on our IG and TikTok. And, just comedians, comedy writers, just chopping it up on our favorite video games, past and present. And you never quite know what you're going to get. So, Gad, do you need another minute to...
Oh, no, I'm good to go. Are you able to switch it from here, from where I am?
Yeah, let me stop screen sharing, and then you should be able to... You just got to click on the present button at the bottom, and then you're going to click share screen. There should be like a present button.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so let me know once you got that going. Yeah, see here. So once again, the premise.
Yeah. I'm good to go.
Thanks for your comments. Shout out to Bedroom Condi by Alicia. Right. But yeah, we have to click present at the bottom and then share screen.
Thought I hit that.
Then I can pull up your video.
Is it because I'm hitting the button? Is it doing stuff?
Yeah, it's not up yet. So you're gonna click. You gotta.
I'm hitting the share screen and then.
Yeah, click present and then share screen. I should be able to see it and then add it to the visual. So let me remove this one.
All right.
Oh, hold on a second. See here. I remove that. All right, so yep, you just got to make sure present then share screen.
I've been hitting them 2 buttons every time.
So you have a tab that's you have the tab with the video game open.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's just not showing up because I would have to put add the stage, but I don't see it here. See here. Hold on a moment.
I wonder why it's not doing it.
Do you have it? Is it possible you can do you have 2 screens or just one? 2 monitors in front of
Wait a
you?
minute. It was some kind of It was some sort of is that it?
Well, yeah, but now it's showing like your screen. Okay, I see it now. I got it here now. All right.
Got it. It was a pop-up blocker that was stopping me from
great bet. So go ahead and you could skip as far ahead in this stream as you want. But go ahead, Gad, and show us your pick. Give us your pick.
I'll hop around on the video. I was just on the nostalgia kick, so I picked all the things I picked were from N64 when I was a kid. So
all right, here we go.
First thing I picked was Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's an old classic. This is not the N64 version because nowadays when I go back and watch it, it hurts my eyes, and this doesn't.
Yeah, that has to be like a remaster.
Yeah, it's definitely the remaster. But yeah, I picked the N64 because I mean last time we were doing Dreamcast games, so I'm just still feeling nostalgic. So I just went way back in time for Ocarina of Time, and this was like one of the first as a kid, it's like one of the first really, really big games that I beat. So I was, and this is so old school. John, I don't know if you even.
Yeah, I've never seen this before in my life.
Oh, yeah. But I don't even know if you were even around for this type of thing where these games, in the rental place. Yeah. They had
96, N64.
Oh yeah, they had game consoles set up in Blockbuster and Target and stuff.
Oh, I remember that though. I do remember those. And Walmart had the PlayStation. You can literally you and some random kid from 2 aisles down could just start playing.
I remember combo packs where basically the Legend of Zelda game came with the N64. They did whole promotional packages of
I think it was a promotional pack of how I got that lime green controller. I forgot what it was, but it wasn't sold by itself. It came with something. I think it came, but this is when this era, this is these games, and this was the first game where I made progress in something, and I was really proud. Every time I came across this game, if it was in a Target or Blockbuster or wherever, and I would be playing or Best Buy, no one could ever get past this part of the game. And when I figured out how to get past it in the store, I had a level of accomplishment as a kid that couldn't be matched.
There was something so magical about with the N64. It was really the first system, when that dropped 95, 96, that really introduced us to the open world format, this level of 3D. Before that, it was still 2D, kind of where you could see the open world, but it wasn't. It had none of the sort of the 360, the 360.
Yeah.
I mean, what's funny too is that continue.
Yeah, the N64 was the first truly 3D, a 3D space type of game where you could move in all different directions and incorporate it up and down and different speeds with the control stick. It was one of the most innovative games, period.
Every other N64, if you owned an N64, I don't care who you were as a kid, you either had Super Mario 64 or Legend of Zelda 64. I mean, people probably have both, but that was at least two of the flagship titles. And it really wasn't until
that web right there, nobody could get through that. No one knew to jump off the middle into that to get to the bottom.
I didn't even know that till now. I was like, that's.
And then when I got there in a Blockbuster, I lost my mind.
You know what's funny? Your story kind of reminds me of I was a PS2 kid, so that was my big moment for me. But the funny thing is that I didn't have internet at the time. No kid did because smartphones wasn't a thing. So I was under the assumption that every video game I got, I would have to get a memory card for each one specifically.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
But
memory
yeah,
cards.
it's
Yeah.
the early days of memory.
right.
N64 was one of the first where you could really just save on the console, and you didn't have like it came with a memory card, but most of the games didn't use it.
But even funnier is that I didn't know, like, I never had a memory card. So I just,
Okay.
for about
Oh,
6 years, I've bought new games, and every time I'll just try to get as far as I could because as soon as I turned
yeah.
that console off,
It was
I'll just start
yeah.
right from the beginning again until I
You
got
didn't know
all
the
of the games.
pain of a memory
No.
card. And then if your memory card ran up, and you had to like, just
You
make
had
a
to you had to
sacrifice.
delete a memory. You had to like
We got that
delete
now.
a fine memory to keep playing whatever other game you had.
You kind of got to do that now too with these new consoles like the Xbox and PlayStation 5. You only get like what 500 gigabytes of a game,
Mhm.
and
I
Call of Duty
I
takes
have
like 289 of that.
do I have such a gripe with that?
Mm.
With like I don't understand how the new consoles have less memory than the generation before.
Yeah, that's a
Like
little.
how does my Xbox One have a terabyte of data, no problem, but my PlayStation 5 can't match that? Can't it should have came with two, no problem. It should have just came with two off the gate.
Yeah, I literally blame NBA 2K and Call of Duty because every time I put these games on, like
Mm,
I deleted one of them, and you know how many games I'm able to have on my PS5 dock? 11.
2K
11.
takes a lot of memory.
It takes about almost 200, maybe even 210 now.
Basketball.
Yes.
right.
Basketball takes that much?
Hey man, you got to use as many, gigabytes as possible to fill in LeBron James' ball spot.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean it is tough to the render because you gotta do individual hairs with him.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Because it's not like a full.
at the premise land just commented, yeah, the struggle is real. You know,
Yeah,
the struggle was real. Oh, Gab, you record on your iPhone too?
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I was about to say like my memory because this is kind of a sore subject for me with the Legend of Zelda because technically when we grew up in the '90s, me and my older sister, we didn't get like our own console each. It was like for Christmas, we had to negotiate and decide on
Yeah.
what console we can get. So we
Mhm.
ultimately
Oh, wow.
went up with we ultimately had to end up having the PS1. All right.
Okay.
And maybe we didn't know about this was like really before it was maybe right after N64 launched, but we didn't really know all the different hits. Looking back, I would have bartered with my sis. Let's get the N64. You know,
Oh
because
yeah.
we had the PlayStation 1. And in the neighborhood growing up, it was like every house the kids you grew up with on the block, it's either you had N64 or the PS1. So
Mhm.
while I had like the titles, the Siphon Filters, the Crash Bandicoots, the Tomb Raiders, at the same time, like the Super Mario 64 and the Legend of Zelda, I had to go to my boy house over here and over there to
Oh, yeah.
play it. So I never had that experience, unfortunately, growing up where I was able to beat and play Super Mario 64 or beat and play a Legend of Zelda. But I
Yeah.
remember like whenever we went over there, went over Steve or whoever's house, we were playing different levels. So I would get exposed and kind of help play different levels. I can't still have memory in my head of like playing Zelda from start to finish. But I just
Mhm.
love the fact that I can kind of go over there and be like, oh, you on this level right now? Oh, this is that. But sometimes I sit back and watch. But
Oh yeah.
Johnny, your point when you mentioned about the PS2, you kind of grew up during that era. I like to say what what uh what what Legend of Zelda 64 and Super Mario 64 did for the N64 is what Grand Theft Auto 3 did for the PS2.
Yes.
It changed the game.
Yes.
It changed the open world sandbox game at that time. The Grand Theft Auto 3 came in and changed the game with the open sandbox for the PS2.
Right. And use
So
all the capabilities of that.
That is an
yeah,
absolute
took it to the next level.
perfect analogy. It is a
Yeah.
it is a nexus event of a game.
Yeah.
That how Grand Theft Auto 3 did for the PlayStation, which is what Ocarina of Time did for the N64. That is perfect because it changed genres where like some of those games come in and other companies start making clones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. At the Premise Land says, what I loved about Zelda was there was so much to do. Once again, the open sandbox.
Oh yeah.
What I hated about Zelda was there was so much to do.
That's funny.
Oh, that was the good old days when we didn't have jobs. It was just homework, and you could just like it probably took me a couple of years to actually beat this game.
Imagine now is a like achievement too, where you can like 100% a game. Like I
Oh yeah.
know for me, like my childhood game. You were speaking of Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 5 was my first Grand Theft Auto. To the point that
Oh,
I got it opening day, and I had to, convince my mom that I'm too sick to go to school on this,
oh
sunny
yeah.
Friday. All right, I'm gonna stay home. And just all day playing as Frankenstein, driving through Los Santos, being like, "Hey, I recognize that spot because it's based in LA." That game changed my view of like, because I was normally playing every year like a 2K game and a Call of Duty game, but I'd never played a GTA game until GTA 5, and I was like,
Gotcha.
wow, this is what an open world game looks like.
That's crazy to have that. That's your start of that type of game.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of M-rated games growing up on the PS2.
Got it. My mom had a completely different mentality when I was a kid. She I had no restrictions. She was just happy I was inside. She was like, wait, are you not running around in Detroit loose? Yeah, sure. Mortal Kombat, enjoy. Just whatever game you want. As long as you're in the house, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, depending on the neighborhood, definitely. I'd say I was a little bit more, I'll just say north of 8 Mile, so to speak. So it was kind of that weird thing where, we back then I don't know, Gad, I don't think we made it over the online play hump. I was playing video games probably up until regularly up until maybe 2013, 2014, a few years after college. So I never quite made it over that online hump. But definitely like when in my prime, it was like the only people you played with was the 3 people with controllers sitting right next to you.
Oh, I kind of missed that though. I kind of missed that.
We had eventually, if we didn't get bored and want to run outside and play, we get kicked out the house. Like, get on outside. It's been too long.
Yeah, that was probably the most, like, for you, that was probably like the biggest regret of going PlayStation instead of N64, because nobody does in-person or kid stuff better than Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean they know how to do that. Like what, you have Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart, like,
and they're still doing that to this. No one else has that kind of in-person fun like them. No one else can figure that out.
I miss those mid-split screens. I really do. Like the sleepovers with the guys, with nothing but Mountain Dew and like hot Cheetos at 4 a.m.
Yeah, video gaming all night, man. Bro, taking me back. And we mentioned also at Premise Lane just said, based on based on what you said, kind of it was better to be in the house depending on where you grew up. At Premise Lane said, better to decapitate pixels than people.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was, I mean, and there was it was everything that was violent. And now I look back and it's all cartoonish. But back then, people thought the world was going to end with some of these games.
Shoot, yeah. I think there's been like plenty of people that have like blamed Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto for like, crimes. And the game made me do it. But
I was like, they've been fighting since people were drawing pictures. This is not but it's whatever's going on. That's what they'll use to justify stuff.
I do got to give an honorable mention, Gab. You mentioned about it took you about what, 2 years, you said, to beat Zelda?
Oh, it took years. Like I'm still not. I still haven't technically finished everything. There's one jar I still need to get because I haven't killed all the poles, and that bothers me as a grown adult. I want to dust off my N64.
I want to dust 25 years later.
I'm the type of person where I'm like,
I still have it. I want to dust off my N64 and go chase down that pole and kill him and get my last jar.
But to your point, I bring that up to say, because back then in the 90s, when GameStop was Funko Land, if you remember, GameStop used to be Funko Land. And all we had is those strategy guides that you had to go in store to Funko Land. It'd be like little magazine guy, like little magazines, almost like a gaming magazine of the entire video game, like a full walkthrough that you had to go in, purchase. It was like a magazine page layout.
Yeah, dude, those strategy guides. They had one. There was a strategy guide on PlayStation 2 for Grand Theft Auto. I mean, not Gran Turismo 3. And the strategy guide for that book taught me more about cars than any of my uncles. I learned this car parts. I learned what a turbocharger was, supercharger, transmission, different types of brakes, tire treads. I learned more about cars reading that book because they had the book had, it was strategy guides. It would break down all the different cards and what was good with what. Then they had different pages that would break down the different tracks and what you need to look out for to break here, go in this corner, stuff like that. But on the margins of the pages, where it would be parts or different terms, and it would just and those margins taught me so much about racing and cars. I'm a car head to this day from the pages of that book.
Yeah, those strategy guys were deep dives. I don't know, John. Do you remember?
No, I used to collect those when I was a kid because there were certain games that I never bought. But
and I would read the guide.
Yeah.
You would read the guide as if you played the game. I have guides for games I don't have.
The game,
right? I think my mom was looking at it like, well, these are cheaper than the video games, so I might as well.
Let me get prepped. Do my prep work.
I thought I was the only one that did that. That would read a guide for a game I didn't have.
I had like 8 of those too for like Star Wars, Revenge of the. The only game that I did have a guide for that I did have was like this old King Kong game that I only made past level 3 because I was too scared. Like that was like one of those raw, visceral, like too like immersive games because like you'd be like Drac Driscoll or something. You're surrounded by like giant T-Rexes and like raptors, and all you have is a wooden spear that breaks if you use it 3 times. I'm like, I'm not doing this at night.
Was that the King Kong game for the Xbox 360?
I think they had one for 360, but mine was on the PS2 for sure.
Okay,
like that was like that lay around when the 360 was the new thing.
Okay,
so in the last generation with PS2 as well.
Let me also the premise land once again. Show me Hitler's copy of GTA, and you might have a point on video games causing violence.
I always say that. It's just always video games keep people indoors.
He said I used to have the Final Fantasy 3 strategy guide, which was a novel.
A novel? Oh man.
Yeah, that's like a George R.R. Martin epic.
I don't even have a memory of a Final Fantasy before 7.
Final Fantasy 7 for the PlayStation. That was the epic flagship, and that was kind of part of the ones because the promotion was so heavy on that game. I think I didn't end up getting the game, but I think I brought the strategy guide for that shit too. Because I was like, it was so like it was like the Grand Theft Auto 3 level entry when it came out. And my other point I was about to make about strategy guides, I remember getting ones for the PS1. I think the one I could say I was the most proud of that I might still have like tattered pieces of it in storage somewhere was the strategy guide for Shenmue for the Sega Dreamcast.
You needed that. That thing is how big is that book?
Yeah. That was the open sandbox. It was the Grand Theft Auto 3 of the Sega Dreamcast, basically. But the main point I wanted to make was that Cheat Code Central, the first time I got put onto that
website?
When my cousins came to visit from Grand Rapids, they brought Grand Theft Auto 3 that they rented from Blockbuster.
Okay.
It was the first time I played Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS2, and I was hooked. The next few days later, I took my money, my allowance, and I bought the strategy guide, and I probably bought Grand Theft Auto 3 a week later. But what put me on to Cheat Code Central, which I think is still one of probably the best cheat code websites, was Grand Theft Auto 3. The game was so good. Yeah. I got to get all the cheat codes and just wreak havoc upon everybody.
Oh, Cheat Code Central has strategy guides on it too, with that weird typewriter font.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I would go to Cheat Code Central. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would go to Cheat Code Central, and they had like just different strategy guides that were hand typed out for different games. They would like right below the codes would be walkthroughs, and it was hard to navigate because it would just the page would open and it would just be one long continuous weird typewriter font walkthrough of the game. And if the author wasn't creative in how they type stuff, you would just have to scroll through until you got to the part of the game you needed. There was no chapters. It would just open and then bam, a giant page that you had to just figure it out.
Man,
and it was just.
I felt kind of robbed. I didn't know that. I'll go to Cheat Code.
You go there right now. If you go there right now, find any old game, and it's a lot of reading. And if you lucky, they'll have stuff like kind of worded right, but it would just be some guy that beat the game. He would just type how to beat it. You go left here, 3 enemies in this room, kill them, move on, and it would just type. and it was
And
just
this
a
was
giant
pre-Reddit
pile.
days.
I have fucked these pots up so many times.
This was pre-Reddit days. You know, Reddit ain't dropped till 05. So even then, I was late to
I
the
didn't even
party.
know
I
it was
didn't start getting
then.
on Reddit till like 09, 2010.
See, I just
yeah, this is
discovered Reddit
pre-Reddit.
like 3 years ago. Oh man,
I love Reddit. I have fucked these pots up so many times in my life.
Bruh.
And the guard just watching you fuck the pots up, and you can just leave.
he like, I'm not getting paid for this.
None. That's his whole job is to watch the pots, and he watched his asshole kid run in, break everything, and then leave.
At that point, I'm just quitting on the spot right there because I'm not cleaning that up.
I would do that every day. Every time I walk past that door, I would go in there, break the pots, and leave. The guards never guarded anything in this game.
They were just there.
They were just there.
All right.
But
All
this
right, y'all.
again, this game, like, just one quick thing about Zelda, it was so innovative. It had a real time day-night schedule.
That would have been revolutionary back then because like so many games have that now.
Crazy revolutionary. You could if you walked around in the open area, it would literally change from day to night. Different enemies would be available or not available during the day or during the night. There were certain things you had to wait until nighttime to do certain things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And this town is empty, but if you come back during the day, it's bustling. Everyone's running around. Yeah, it was a day-night schedule. This game was just so deep.
That's the thing, man, because once again, I still feel kind of raw because, like I said, I didn't have an N64 growing up. So my only exposure was when I went over my friend's house here and there. There were at least 3 kids in the neighborhood that had the N64. But this would be over the years, like over a time span of like 95 and even going to like maybe 99, 2000, people still playing the game. But I can't recall if there was one time I went over a friend's house where I saw the exact same level or place that Zelda was like. I never saw the exact same stage or level that somebody was playing Zelda on because the game was so epic. Like every time I came over, they were on some different other portion or some different other level or some different other land because the game was so huge. Me, my little head, I'm like 8 and 10, like, man, it's like a lot going on. Like every time I come over here, there's a different level of Zelda or a different world.
Oh yeah.
It was just so epic. I wasn't like, hey, let's play this for 8 hours. It's like, let me just sit back and watch, or I would like play it with them because it was just so epic, such a huge scale of Zelda, you know. And like I mentioned, Shenmue adopted that, did that for the Dreamcast, open sandbox, night and day, and then GTA 3 did that for the PS2. But the Zelda and Mario 64, they paved the way. Those are the OGs for the sandbox, open world. I can't name really, you know, you could maybe argue Final Fantasy 7, but they didn't have like the 3D wasn't there yet.
It didn't feel like this. It was a 3D guy running around a pre-rendered background. It wasn't this.
Man.
Like like Final Fantasy, like you had a character that looked like Link, but where he was running was already pre-rendered. The same way how they kind of did the Resident Evil games, the early Resident, where it's just a pre-rendered spot and there's a 3D character on top of it. But this is a 3D character in a matching environment, which was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, you can see the sun literally rising in that.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah. There was a real, and you know, if you ran around at night, you like zombies would come out the ground. You had to fight it. It almost turned into a horror game if you were out in the open part of this game at nighttime.
Yeah, freaks would come out at night.
Yeah.
Come out.
It would get tough if you were at nighttime in this game. And this is the part before he gets a horse, so he has to walk everywhere.
Oh man!
And the game is the exact same size when he grows up and gets a horse.
Man, I need to know
At Premise Land says, I still don't have a day-night schedule in my life.
As somebody that works midnights, I understand.
All right, y'all. You are watching Comedian Video Game Commentary. We live stream on Sundays and Fridays on YouTube, Kick, Rumble, and Twitch. I'm your host, Hayward Hal Crawford, here with Gad to the Bone and Champagne Cena. So we about to get into my pick, y'all. So go ahead and I'll go ahead and take this off the screen, Gad. Great share. And once again, guys, try and have your next video game queued up for us. I'm going to get into one that's a little near and dear to my heart during a later time, kind of the second half of my my gaming period. Mid 2000s. We talked about this before, but I got to give it up for Gears of War 1, 2006, Xbox 360. So many memories. So let me go ahead and pull this one up.
A certified classic right there.
I got to say, like, this was one of those games, like, everything from, like, even the commercial, man, when they did that, like, Mad World, Gary Jules kind of cover, which they took from Donnie Darko.
Someone cooked there. Someone definitely cooked there on that.
Just the level of, like, raw rigor, almost kind of like a steampunk vibe. And it was one of those games. I can say I beat Gears of War 1. I almost beat Gears of War 2. All right. But at the same time, like, just everything from, like, this traditional I think, third point view, like third person view. And then, like, you zoom in and now you're like, this is like damn near like half first perspective, you know. This dropped at a time when I was like in my college freshman year, and there's a lot of memories of just unfortunately being in my dorm, just a hermit beating this game. Yeah. And I would like to go. Anybody want to go ahead and just sort of give their on Gears of War 1, Xbox 360.
This game was one of the first games where I understood a mood of a game. It's dark. The game is literally, like, even during the day, this isn't like a bad render. This is how bright it was in the middle of the day of the game. So the game itself is dark. It's moody, and with all the promotions, that song still bugs me. Like the songs from all the trailers, and it really, like, it almost gives an almost hopeless feeling to it. But for something that's so action packed and so over the top, how they can both be this and give a bunch of emotion in it, and like voice acting in this game, some of the best voice acting in any game series, period.
Marcus, for sure.
Yeah, John DiMaggio is one of the best voice actors in history. If you're not familiar with John DiMaggio, he does Marcus Phoenix in this game. He does the dog from Adventure Time, Bender, Futurama.
Oh, Jake. Oh,
yeah, Jake. Yeah, Jake. He does Jake. He does. He did the Joker and the animated The Killing Joke. I think that's the name of the movie. The Killing. He did that Joker.
Yeah.
Which from, according to the nerd grapevine, the second best Joker behind Mark Hamill as far as an animated voice Joker. So he's a super, super accomplished voice actor. And then again, him and I don't know the actor's name, but he played the office linebacker in those old Reebok commercials. That's Augustus Cole, which is the one voice actor that could actually play his character if they made a Gears of War movie.
What was all that hype about Dave Bautista, who looks a lot like the main
look like
character?
Marcus? Yeah, like
Marcus. I would love to see him. If they made a Gears of War movie, it would. Yeah, Bautista would probably. Yeah,
he actually was like a downloadable character too. I think in one of the newer Gears games.
Oh,
like
he
Gears
was?
4, yeah. Like,
okay.
Put him in there, and he had a Batista bomb finishing move too.
That's funny. I remember they had Snoop Dogg in this at one point. No, not Snoop. Ice-T.
Snoop Dogg is everything at this point.
Yeah, when Gears 3 dropped, they were just having fun, so they just kept putting different celebrities would play cameos. So Ice-T was a character in the game.
Gears of War, are we talking about Gears of War 3? They started doing all that?
Oh yeah, Gears of War. Yeah, well, yeah. When 3 dropped, they were just like after 1 and 2, they were just messing around, and they just started putting celebrities in it, and different people did voices and cameos and came in and out. So yeah, Gears of War is this is one of. My buddy had a 360 before me, so I would go over his house and we would play, and we had the rules of first one that died has to give up the controller. So we would watch until somebody died, and then the controller got passed over. But yeah, we did this for like maybe about a month or two. consistently going over his career playing this.
Also, too, I do have to mention that. Shout out to DJ K. Thanks for joining the live stream hangout kickback. Yelled out Zelda. Yep, Zelda was the one. And he also commented Gears are sick. And then at the premise land is back in the building. And like, bro, what's really crazy about just the villain, like just sort of like this alien species that kind of took over. I know a lot of people bash. I wasn't really a big fan of obviously I think a lot of people didn't really rock with the Final Fantasy movie. Remember the 2001 3D animated, because if anything, they kind of took the title of the Final Fantasy, had nothing to do with the story. But they had a very eerie, similar kind of group of aliens, you know?
Okay.
Like, the alien types and kind of how they roam and whatnot. And I don't know, like it just felt like just like the really essence of kind of like a Call of Duty meets like aliens, bro. Yeah. Really, like Call of Duty was, I think the first Call of Duty was in 2005, but it didn't really start popping until Modern Warfare.
Yeah, that was like 2007, I think. Modern Warfare. Like
I want to say Modern Warfare was either 2009 or 2008.
Modern Warfare 2 was old. I remember that one was huge. Then Black Ops was 2010. So Modern Warfare was probably the first one was probably like 2008.
That kicked me off of Halo. Just the aiming down sights, that kicked me off Halo immediately. And I was a big Halo guy. And is that Modern Warfare, it scratched the itch I didn't know I had. And I never got good at it. Those older, I'm decent at the ones now, but I never got good at them old ones. But it just, I couldn't stop playing them. And again, it was like good stories. Like this game, like this Gears, this is such a good game, man. Just the storytelling and the characters' backgrounds and all is some of the most emotional scenes in games come from the Gears of War series. Like the stuff between Dominic and his wife, or Cole being a retired athlete, and him they picked a big defensive end and then just made him a soldier, and him just trying to make peace with the soldier part of the football player part in him. And the side characters had emotional arcs where they were dying and getting kidnapped, and you had to go find them and rescue them. And then on top of that, you got aliens trying to kill you, and they're good at it.
And they should.
And it's hopelessness. It's certain games where you get that feeling of hopelessness. It's just very intriguing.
Yeah, it's a heavy somberness to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that freshman year, like playing this in the dorm, I don't think I've encountered so many of the Xbox Ring of Death. Remember the Ring of Death on the Xbox?
Oh, yeah.
It was really pushing the hardware.
So many
on that
Xbox
one.
360 Ring of Deaths. And,
and online had there were so many strategies to fix the Ring of Death. It was one like wrap the whole console in towels and leave it on till burning a problem away.
Wait. What was
the thing is overheating.
It sounded like those iPhones.
Spread some peanut butter on the top of the console.
Yeah, it was. There was so many jerry-rig strategies to doing it, where you had to do this and do that. And
I had the Xbox Arcade, and I never ran into the Ring of Death.
Yeah, what?
I never ran into the Ring of Death. Surprisingly, I had the.
Did you have the first gen 360 or the second gen?
It was an arcade, and then I started adding like the 100 gigabytes on top because I could just get the hard drive that was used from GameStop.
The Ring of Death, and one guy, you could probably have a better definition of it. So once again, Xbox 360 was my first Xbox. I didn't get the original Xbox. I had cousins. I had a few cousins. I could always go over and play theirs. But yeah, the Xbox 360 was. I think it maybe had something to do when you set the Xbox 360 upright versus like down, because they would always just advertise, you can set it up upright, vertical, or you can set it horizontal. But I think it was a more so an issue when you just set your Xbox 360 upright, where you get this
it had to have been something. It was
I always had it horizontally too, so maybe that could have been something like that.
The arcade was the OG one. Yeah, that was. It should have. Wait, what color was it? Was it white or black?
White.
It was mainly white. The Xbox 360 was white. The original OG Xbox was black.
You not getting the Rings of Death on a white 360 was impressive.
Yeah, I still have it too. I still have it.
You said not getting it?
My 360 died in 3 different ways.
Dang.
I had the Ring of Death. The door stopped working where I couldn't put take in or out discs, and then something else happened where it just stopped working completely.
Oh, it wanted to die.
Oh yeah. And then so like my Ring of Death, I had to take it to like a game repair place. And they went and they resoldered all of the circuits inside that were, because it would get hot and the little glue would melt. So that's how you got the Ring of Death. So I don't know how Rabbit in the Tile fixed that problem, but when they resoldered everything, it made the game console crazy loud. It worked, but
I remember it.
But the fan would go stupid with it. It was like you had to have the TV up just to beat the console playing.
You damn near have a house fire breakout. You rapping the 360.
I'm saying
if you were playing like fire.
And that console will warm up the room you're in. That's for
sure.
Yeah,
it was hot.
Oh yeah.
I was like, who needs a heater when you have a 360?
I still play my 360 to this day. I still haven't beaten Fallout New Vegas, and my buddy at work still makes fun of me for not beating it yet.
Nah, I feel you on that one because I just downloaded Fallout 4, off the PlayStation Plus app, and I've been on hour 3, and I just stopped playing because I can't find bullets anywhere. Like I don't have. It's a wasteland. I get that, but give me at least like a full cartridge or something.
I don't want to use this baseball bat with nails all the time.
Yeah, I'm saying. I'm like, all right. I literally have to invite a friend over to just play the mission with me.
Also,
you may have, like once you make a settlement, you can make a factory that makes ammo, but you're probably not even at that like.
Not even close. I'm in Diamond City, and I'm supposed to like rescue Nick Valentine, but he ain't getting rescued anytime soon.
Because I don't have any bullets. I'm not running there with a knife.
Yeah, everybody got an AK-47 machine gun. They got lasers. All I got is literally a kitchen knife and a baseball bat. There's nothing I can do about
what
that.
you got.
Yeah, exactly.
A shout out to the Premise Land, dominating the chat. Love it. He said, I had a friend who had an OG Nintendo that blew up twice. He put a chair leg through it. It still worked.
They don't make them
like Nintendo.
I need to find footage of that. That's wild.
And then my buddy
N64
would consistently blow the circuits in his house. Man.
See, I don't know what, and it had that the 360. You remember that giant power brick that plugged into the back of it?
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was a cord that went into a giant transmitter. I'm not an electrician, but it went into something huge. Then that plugged into the wall.
And that brick got hot as all get out. And then
it had a light on it. It had a big orange light on it.
I do remember that now too. And the thing is, I felt like every time I changed something out for my 360, it was like me working on a car. Because I had to get like a new storage unit on there on top. With
that big hard drive you had to plug into the top of it.
Yeah. And then I had to get the charger. Instead of getting batteries, they actually had chargers sold separately that you can connect to the console. And that way you can just, not have to change the batteries every 2 months.
Oh yeah. No. You had to put on coveralls to fix the 360.
Yeah.
That Premise Land said Nintendo. So he had the OG
the NES.
First Nintendo was 80 what? 85?
85, 84, something like
Okay. Yeah, they was built different back then, bro.
They had that. It was a door. Yeah, a door. You had to put the cartridge in, slide it down, and then shut the door. It was steps to turn that game on, and that was if the game turned on.
Hoping and praying.
And then you had to blow into the cartridge to get the dust out for it to work. You'd be exhausted by the time the game started.
I got a story for y'all because I had 2 different cousins with 2 different philosophies when it came to the cartridge, right? I got to share this one. So I had 2 cousins with 2 different philosophies when it comes to blowing the cartridge. For those of you youngers out there, Gen Z and younger, don't remember about if you ever had an N64 or Nintendos in general, had the cartridges. Yeah. So I had a cousin who was really into the blowing super hard. He wanted to get every speck of dust out of it, like super.
Yeah.
Like I would feel it from like 2 feet away. And I had another cousin, and they haven't met before, who was just like very, just sort of. It took a little bristle in there. So
you got a fancy cousin.
So what happened? What had happened was we had a reunion, maybe mid late '90s, where the two of them finally met. I think we ended up going over one of their houses. And for me, just for years, I knew my one cousin. He just blew hard on the car, just really hard. My other cousin just very hard. So I knew about this. They had two different philosophies, but when they finally met, and we had, the kids had a little kids' room or whatever, gaming room. We bring 2-3 consoles together, chopping it up. It's probably like an N64, PS2, probably 2 N64s, a PS1, and probably like a Sega Saturn in that boy. And it wasn't until just minutes, it was almost like slow-mo. Because then I realized both of my cousins who met for the first time are playing the game. They're playing the N64. He's playing my cousin's N64, and his game is the cousin who likes to blow on the cartridge soft. We're playing his game.
Okay.
There's this issue with it. And then my other cousin's playing it. He's the one that blows on it really hard. And then all the game's glitching. All right, turn it off. So my cousin who blows on the cartridge game soft is sitting there like, yeah, go blow it off. My cousin who blows on the cartridge as hard as I'll get out, he goes up to the console and grabs the cartridge. And I'm sitting like 6 feet away. I'm like, oh, boy. Because then it kind of finally comes to me, right? And then my cousin grabs the cartridge. Woof! My cousin who blows on the cartridge soft freaks out. Whoa! And I'm like, like it was slow mo because I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Like, oh shit, it's about to, So very two different philosophies. They get into it. My cousin who likes to blow on the cartridge soft, they almost damn near fight. I got to separate the two. We're like 8, 9, and 10, but 2 different philosophies when it comes to blowing on the cartridge.
I didn't even know there was a soft blow strategy. This is new information to me. I was definitely a hard blower.
2 different philosophies.
Definitely a hard blower. Yeah, your cousin would have been mad at me too.
Oh man! So
one thing with N64, I don't remember blowing on it often. The N64, I didn't get a lot of problems with it.
I think it was mainly I was probably more of a Super Nintendo thing.
Yeah, the NES and the Super, I blew on those a lot.
See, I was more of a Game Boy Advance guy with those cartridges.
Yeah, those you blew on soft, obviously, but
I don't ever remember blowing a Game Boy cartridge because they was always in those little plastic, those little cases that they came with. So I never had to blow on a Game Boy game.
Oh, you didn't have like the package, like the little carriers that put all the cartridges in like one little book bag?
Yeah, but all of mine, they had their own individual plastic joint, and those would go and then those would go on my little carrier. So my Game Boy games never got dusty. But those Nintendo, the ones that just sat there next to the VCR, I had to blow those every time I wanted to play them.
Every time you look at it, you got to blow on. That kind of reminds me of because even the PS1s, at least the one thing I give about that, obviously the disc, the compact disc, they get scratched up here and there. Mm-hmm. I remember even at Funko Land, you would buy the CD-ROM cleaning kit. Like the nice little sponge and the spray and the little yellow cloth. But at the end of the day, eventually, I would lose it, or maybe somebody would take it or misplace. My mom would move it and misplace it. Mm-hmm. Eventually, all you needed was some paper towels and rubbing alcohol, and the game would be just as good.
But I remember those.
Cleaning kit Funko Land was selling.
I remember the disc cleaning kit. I had a laser lens cleaning kit, and that was a CD. And I don't know how this worked, but in the CD was a little brush embedded in the bottom of the CD. So when you put it into place and turn it on, it would be like a guy with a soft voice talking. But as the disc is spinning, it's cleaning the laser lens inside of the PlayStation. Which now I'm almost certain that was just a lie or a placebo. It had to be that was definitely a scam that I bought. But because I ain't seen them since. So how did something completely inside get dirty? But that was a thing. I had a laser lens cleaner. It was inside of a CD. But no, you did have to do voodoo to get an NES or Super Nintendo game going.
I do that Doctor Strange magic.
No.
Oh yeah.
All right, John, you are back up, sir. Let me know what game
Okay.
your second pick that we're gonna discuss, and then make sure the iPhone record for the opening pitch of your game. Which one is that? Are we going NCAA or which
We're
one?
going before that. We're going with NFL Street 2.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
sir.
that
Back on it. All right, here
that
we
is
go.
a game. That is a game that cooked my childhood for
All
sure.
right, so go ahead, record
Okay.
yourself, and then break it down.
All right, for sure. Let me just turn the volume down a little bit here. But yeah, so NFL Street 2 back in the day, you had like it was basically if you remember Def Jam. I don't know what was going on in the early 2000s, but apparently everyone decided, you know what, let's just make every sport street. Okay.
This was the. I'm sorry to jump in. My bad.
No, go ahead. No,
This
go
is
ahead.
the
Because like this game.
golden era of sports of like early 2000s. This EA was untouchable in these years.
Yes, and you have to let the intro run too. It was just always iconic. You had like Exhibit playing. Yeah, Jeremy Shopke, who was a cheat code on there. You can literally like dive off the wall. Like it was insane. This was my introduction. This was literally my introduction to football in general because I wasn't watching it as a kid. I think my dad got me this for Christmas one time just because a bunch of games were on sale. And that opening morning, I would just have like go to school for like Christmas break. I'll bring an extra controller too, and we just go 1-on-1 against like Green Bay Packers. My team was the New York Giants because back then LA didn't have a team. And you just go to town on the rooftops. You be going to town like in random like parks, high schools. Like, look at this gameplay. Like you're not seeing this in today's modern like NFL.
Yeah.
You get flagged right before you even step off the field.
Oh, this was this was an era where everything was a street. NBA street, NFL street. I think they had other sports had a street too. Had streets as
NBA
well.
Street kicked it off.
Yeah,
that was
this
01.
NFL street.
Yeah.
My two teams were. Every time I tell people my favorite football teams, people get mad at me. It's the Ravens and the Steelers.
Well, they were overpowered in that game.
Oh yeah,
sure.
This was a violent game, so I'm going to pick the two most violent teams. I'm going to I have James Harrison and Ray Lewis running around. No, you're not beating me.
And the crazy no, of course not. And the crazy thing is, I still have the game. Like I still have it on PS2 hard copy, but I can't play it anywhere because I do have my old PS2, but that thing is literally on life support.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I tried putting it in my PS5 like earlier this week, and it was like, oh, it's not backwards compatible. I was like, well, maybe it should be, but here we are. They need to bring it back, man. I mean, we got NCAA back. Why not NFL Street?
Oh yeah. What happened? I think we discussed this on one of the other videos.
Yeah, we went in a little deep dive on NBA Street Series.
Yeah. This what the problem is when NFL 2K5 came out, it was one of the best, probably the best football game made.
NFL 2K5.
Yeah, NFL 2K5, and that Madden was running at the same time, and 2K had Terrell Owens on the cover, and Madden had Ray Lewis on the cover. And if you flip the boxes on the back of 2K had Terrell Owens stiff arming Ray Lewis, and the back of Madden had Ray Lewis tackling Terrell Owens. So it was like a direct correlation.
That's real beef.
And that 2K5 dropped for like $20, and it was better than Madden in a lot of aspects. And that game shook EA to its core, where they went out and spent how many gobs of money on the NFL to get the exclusive licensing. So that's why there's no other football games outside of Madden, because they have an NFL exclusive license. And after they got that exclusive license and got a monopoly on football games, it's just that's why you won't get good stuff like this anymore.
So when was the last NFL? I know NFL Street Series is on hold, but NFL 2K that series is no more.
After that 05 game, they had a couple of other games, but they weren't NFL licensed. So no one they had one game. It was like a Legends or something. So it was like all old retired players like John Elway and Barry Sanders were on the cover.
I kid you not, though. They did come back with an NFL 2K. The problem is it's a mobile game.
Yeah,
it's literally like an app, like you can download right now.
It's a zombie of it's a former shell of his former self.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know what they're because there
Yeah.
is gonna be like a rights issue, right? I think between
yeah,
like EA and Madden right now. Like, dude, they even lost like the FIFA rights now.
yeah. So like with this, but like that exclusive license, and that's why there's no other. That's why there's no other back and forth. So, and with them being the only dog in town, if you look online, everyone's been complaining about Madden since like 2009. Like they haven't.
Mm.
It's like this sucks and this sucks. Just different bloopers and stuff, and just this isn't good and this doesn't play as well. And you'll see a clip of like a Mad like 2004 come up, and it's all
Mm.
these young kids like this is what Madden used to be, and they can't believe it because they're comparing it to what they're playing now, and it's not.
Wow.
So if you're the only dog in town, you don't have to make a good one.
Well, that's the same situation 2K is in right now with
Yeah,
NBA 2K. They have no rivals whatsoever, so they
mhm.
feel like they can just put out the same game over and
They can
over
put
and
out
Yeah.
over.
garbage. Yeah,
Because the NBA 2K series is still going strong, but NFL 2K is
it's
kind
gone.
of rest in
Yeah,
peace.
yeah. EA couldn't buy the exclusive rights to the NBA. So there's still a live versus 2K like argument, but live hasn't been.
Yeah.
Nah, because they died. They for me, it
NBA
I
died
don't
when
I don't
Live,
think
NBA
we were
Elite
ever
11.
alive when live was good.
yeah,
Live
You
10
NBA
get
was
Live
good.
was like that was
NBA Live
nice.
10 was good for me.
Yeah.
Like
which
that was the
one?
last good NBA Live 10 with Dwight Howard on the cover.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was like
okay.
the last good one to me.
Good
And then
one.
what happened was what I remember was like 2K11 was like the best sports game of all time there because they had Jordan on the cover,
Hmm.
Jordan challenges, and
I
then like
remember that.
that's when they started doing like the my player kind of deal, like really
Yeah.
getting into it. But then EA tried to come back with NBA Elite 11, which was like the most notorious game because that was going to be their competitor with a new name. But then the infamous demo came out where it had Andrew Bynum doing a T pose in the middle of like a Laker Boston Celtics game where it was
Oh
so
goodness.
incomplete that they just shelved it
Man,
for like years.
Goodness gracious.
It was bad. It was so bad.
my
And
God.
Oh,
everybody, man. And they
I,
did come back. The live
okay.
did come back, but it was like, yeah, you can't get back. Like
what was the
Yeah,
last year it came back? NBA Live, like using that original branding.
I remember Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook were recently on like the most recent cover from like 18, NBA Live 18.
okay.
Like one of those. But they
Yeah,
haven't
That
so
was
released
they're around, but they're so far behind. It's not like a competition to them. The same way
yeah,
how with Call of Duty, they're still Battlefield, but Battlefield is so less popular than Call of Duty. They don't look at them as a problem, even though
yeah.
Battlefield's a good game,
same
but
with
it's behind, so they don't look at them as a problem. So Call of Duty can just, if they want to put out trash, they can.
yeah, same
Yeah.
with Medal of Honor. Remember,
Yeah,
Medal of Honor was Call
that
of
was
Duty spot
it
late
was
'90s,
above, yeah,
early 2000s. Then Call of Duty came in mid
and swept
2000s,
them out.
kind of took
Yeah,
that fire.
and Melana never came when
Yeah,
Call of
never
Duty
came
hit.
back. Yeah.
Melana just stopped.
And that's gonna be one of my picks. Medal of Honor Frontline, like '02, like the
Mhm.
whole storm, the D-Day storming of the Normandy Beach from Medal
Mm.
of
Oh yeah,
Honor Frontline was epic. That was probably one of the best games in the series. That'll probably be a pick for another stream. But at Premise Land, rhetorical question. Wonder why they never made PGA Streets.
they almost had a PGA Streets. It was
PGA Streets that Tiger Woods
it was like a, it
I'm
was a
saying you don't want Tiger
it
Woods
was
in
a
the
golf
streets, man.
game that was like that. It was arcadey. It was a hardcore arcadey golf
Hot
game.
Shots Golf. Hot
Yeah,
Shots Golf.
it was a hot shots golf.
Yeah, that's about it. But it was like
Yeah,
cartoons, though.
and what is his name? John. Oh, what is the golf guy that's the fat dude that's always drunk? He's like promoting the game that's
The
like
fat
hot.
golf.
I was
The fat
about to say
golf.
Charles Barkley for a second.
No.
Yeah.
John Daly.
Mm.
John Daly. He's just a redneck that got good at golf, and he like drinks on tour, and he's a wild guy, and he's promoting like a PGA arcade type of golf game. It's at the bar. The last time I was at the bar, it was the golf game in the corner, and he was on it. But this NFL Street is just such a cool time
Yeah.
where this is when Madden had came up with those hitting those truck sticks, and that was really the only saving grace above the NFL 2K was the hitting the truck stick feature. And then they was like, well, let's make a whole game a truck stick. And that's this. Let's make the whole game a truck stick, make the whole game a hit stick. And this is NFL Street.
Yeah, when it hit hard.
Hard.
I will admit,
707, big sounds.
yeah.
Everyone's got on a hoodie and a do-rag and braids.
Sparks would come out of the wall, like if you hit somebody against it.
Yeah. People have a chain on. This is a wild time in hip hop.
Yeah.
This is the same Def Jam Fight for New York time. All of this.
Yep, Def Jam Vendetta. I was about to give an honorable mention as well to while I didn't own NFL Street, I remember playing it a couple times over friends' houses. It was always a good time. I think maybe that time I didn't feel like enough to invest in it, even though I did play it, I had a good time. I was a little bit more of an NFL Blitz guy. I was still kind of heavy into the NFL Blitz series. But, when a friend of mine or somebody had NFL Street, we definitely would play it. I wanted to bring up one more point as far as like when we talked about the 2K series. A lot of people may not remember that NBA 2K series started out on the Dreamcast.
So did the NFL, both of them.
NBA 2K for the Sega Dreamcast literally came out probably 99, 2000. There was an NFL 2K that first dropped on the Sega Dreamcast. I want to give a shout out to the Sega Dreamcast.
And that had Randy Moss on the cover. And you could not stop. NBA 2K had Iverson and the NFL 2Ks had Moss. You could not stop either one of them gentlemen in their games.
Because at the time, once again, 2000, it was NBA Live that was dominating. I remember my uncle almost tried to fight me. He thought I hit his NBA Live 98. When he left it in the shoebox somewhere. It was just mad and NBA Live. So I think what was really interesting, what you mentioned about the competition, I remember from both NBA and NFL 2K, from 2000 to 2005, you just saw it incrementally getting better and better.
Yeah.
And then, if y'all probably don't remember, in 2004, they had a brief deal with ESPN. So the 2004 NBA 2K, actually, ESPN football.
I remember that. They had Warren Sapp on it.
They had like NFL 2K4, but then like was like the subtitle, and then it had ESPN football.
And they had the helmet cam. That game had the helmet cam.
Yeah.
That was a big feature, like first person football.
Yeah, so the 2K series, what I do it respect about it, it did quickly pivot. Sega Dreamcast died. They ended production like 01, 02. So they pivoted quickly to the PS2, built that brand up, and then they were able in 04 to finally license ESPN. So I think it was ESPN Basketball 04, like 2K series. And it was like ESPN Football, NFL 2K series. So I wanted to kind of at least give them a shout out with Sega Dreamcast birthed what 2K we have today. But I think NFL Street definitely has its own spot in history, along with NFL Blitz. I was just more of an NFL Blitz guy, but I did play NFL Street like a few times.
We could do a whole episode. We could do a whole other episode just of Dreamcast.
Yeah,
it was so good, but it was miles ahead of the PlayStation 1, but the PlayStation 2 was better, and it just killed something that was it stopped that Dreamcast in its tracks. Like the PlayStation 1 couldn't touch it. But the PlayStation 2 was just
was a wrap. When I got my Sega Dreamcast Christmas '99, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
PS1, it was a secondary system. It was.
It
wasn't in the living room. My PS1 got demoted to my bedroom.
Oh yeah.
One like
you
living
could take
room.
the memory card out and play it as a Game Boy. The Dreamcast was just miles ahead of anything.
Game Boy. Yeah, Game Boy Color, Pokemon Yellow, Sega Dreamcast Christmas '99. It was a good Christmas.
Oh yeah. Like my Dreamcast died the day Sega announced they were stopped making consoles. Like I saw it on the news. I turned on my Dreamcast and it wasn't working, and it never worked again.
The Dreamcast knew. It died of a broken heart.
Dang.
So I died of a broken heart. Those are still, like we had a whole Dreamcast episode. Those are some of my favorite games. Period with Dreamcast stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just those some of those games. That Toy Commander, I like anything with airplanes in it. So that Toy Commander was just so much fun flying those fighter pilots around a living room. Yeah.
at Premise Land. That's amazing. Well, no, he had a Dreamcast gone too soon.
Oh, absolutely. I would.
And I do want to see.
I would.
Yeah, I do want to see a
pay
PGA
top
Street.
dollar. Oh yeah, like I would pay top dollar if there was a legitimate Dreamcast like rebrand of a console or emulator where I could play those games again.
Yeah, it's got to be out there, or maybe somebody working on it. And I would love to see Tiger Woods running around chasing people with a golf club, like PGA Streets. Let's make that happen. Somebody Minecraft that into a concept. Maybe AI. We do AI boy.
There's probably like a GTA mod for that right now.
Yeah. And the Premise Land just flooding the chat, but it's great stuff. Everyone slept on Turbo Graphics, which was competing with Nintendo and Sega and looked way better. That's the first time I heard of that. Anybody ever heard of Turbo Graphics?
I'm trying to figure out how to Google this thing.
You said Turbo Graphics?
Yeah, that's
give some more context. But John, anything else you want to add with NFL Street? Any other kind of like memories, or just sort of because this is a great game. I mean, I think did it go up to 3, or did it
It just what? I think it actually did, but like it was so under the radar.
They had a good run. They had a pretty good run, not a long run.
But
it was the same as NBA Street. The first 2 were really good.
Yeah, they did have.
They had a third one for some reason. The Magic couldn't come back.
Like Chad Ochocinco on the covers is even crazier. Huh.
I remember like you could select your high step in NFL Street. You could pick which one you wanted.
Man, I will say this though: if it came back today, I'm sure 3 they're probably a little like turned off because of how it didn't do well with 3. But bring it back. You have Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, got a whole new generation.
That EA messed up when like they got rid of that whole big department. Because that EA big, that's where all these games came from. That's where the NBA, the SSX, the snowboarding game. That's all EA Sports big. That whole department, that whole lineup was good. We could honestly make a whole episode of just EA Sports big.
Yeah, we could. That's probably a good idea. We could start having like theme shows where we just go all in on like certain company or certain console. Because right now we're just kind of like these picks, but yeah, it's really good stuff. All right, John, anything else you want to add to our beloved NFL Street series?
#
bring NFL Street back. That's all I got to say about that.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
I heard it first.
Dude, I just put up the NBA Streets like lineup. The Def Jam Vendetta, FIFA Street, Freestyle, NBA Street.
I remember that. Yeah.
NFL Tour. I forgot about NFL Tour. That was after NFL Streets. The tour was like it was the same thing as Street, but it was like on a real football field. But it's the same thing. Sled Storm, SSX. Yeah, EA Sports big. That whole department was good. That was down there with that 989 Studios of making just good games over and over for PlayStation 1.
989 Studios, shout out. They did Cypher Filter.
Oh yeah,
I remember hearing that. I played that game so much. 989 Studios, dude.
Yeah, dude. 989 Studios had the NFL Game Day. They had an NBA game. It was just like one of those departments that just had a bunch of good games coming out. And EA Sports big. All these this is all just it. Def Jam Vendetta, all of that was in the same block.
That whole umbrella. All right, Premise Land, keep coming with the funnies. Put hashtag PGA Streets Kickstarter. Hey, bro, you really want somebody to hear with a golf club.
He is determined.
Yeah, man, make it an AI first, a little AI video. That'd be epic.
He is determined to have John Daly hit Tiger Woods in the head with a golf club.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So let's you guys are watching once again comedian video game commentary. We're probably gonna wrap it up in the next 30 minutes or so. So we probably got time for another Gad, you're up with your second pick. And then I'll close on my second pick, and we got time. We'll maybe do one more after that. But Gad, you're up for your next selection. So
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go trying to figure out which one of these two.
Wow.
I got it. We're gonna go with Star Fox 64. I had a whole thing of just N64, so I'm gonna go with Star Fox 64 today on this
a
one.
64 kick. That's cool. You know,
Yeah, I'm just on a. Yeah, I'm on a.
Yeah, I just get some backwards compatibility. That's all I need. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about it, man. I'm just thinking about it because, like, I remember I had a night with some friends where we just brought our old PS2 consoles, 360s, just had our Def Jam, NFL Street, and just nostalgia all night. Oh man,
Yeah,
just
you
make it.
gotta do that. You know, you gotta go there. All right, here it is right here. Just go ahead, full screen that. So go ahead, Gab. Make sure you turn back on your iPhone record and tell us about breakdown Star Fox 64 for the
Star Fox 64 is one of my favorite games. We were talking about how innovative the N64 was. Star Fox was one of those games. This game was the first game to introduce the Rumble Pack. So your controller vibrating when you get shot in the game today, Star Fox is where that came from. That's 100% where that game feature came from with Star Fox. I always think they always say, like, if you had like a science fiction fantasy, it was always if I could have a great fox with a couple of X-wings inside. Like, that's my sci-fi fantasy. I have a ship that can go planet to planet with a little fighter inside, go exploring. This game opened up my imagination as a kid. It's just, even to this day, I have a Star Fox theme on my phone, and I use it when I'm pre-flight my plane.
Man.
Star Fox is just a group. Like, the characters were great. Falco was an asshole. Sleepy was absolutely useless, but you needed him because he gave you the health of the bosses. So it's like he was a task to keep alive. Peppy was keeping you alive with tips. It was just a great game. Just a fighter. Me and my buddy that's also a pilot, we use Star Fox terms in just day-to-day talking of different things we're saying and stuff. I took him flying a little while ago, and just going from Pontiac to Lansing, just a little quick flight. But halfway through, I started messing with the throttles, like, something's wrong with the G diffuser, and he thought we were having a real problem in the air until I said the G diffuser, and he was like, "Oh, the gas playing around." But this game opened up some imagination when I was a kid, and I've always liked this. We went to go watch the most recent Top Gun together.
Oh, Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick. So we went to go watch Maverick, and we were comparing Star Fox to Maverick because they had he was flying the old F-14 in the movie with the sweeping wings, and that wing sweeping thing is the same thing on Star Fox, where the wings could go to all range mode, and then you could go into a 3D environment and play and all that kind of stuff. So Star Fox 64 is I was on a nostalgic tick. Maybe I'll pick a new game next time. Okay. But this was,
man.
Oh, I know where every enemy is on this board.
This is coming back. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, as I mentioned, like growing up in the 90s, it was kind of one of those things in the neighborhood. Your family could either afford, you were either getting one console on, you were either getting the PS1 or the 64. I had a PS1 household, so I do remember a couple friends having the Star Fox 64, playing this. You know, it had like such a great, I want to say it was a great landscape. It was like just such a fun, just sort of like we ducking and dodging different things like that. So I wasn't like on it, playing it a whole lot. If my friend was playing it over his house, we would play it. But I remember what was most epic and what was a great tie-in. I think we'll put a lot of people, at least at the time, on Star Fox, like in the 64 era, was when there was a Star Fox 64 level on Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I put a good generation, I won't say a good generation, but it was like a great tie-in to Star Fox. It was that Star Fox level on the Super Smash Bros. And we gotta talk Super Smash Bros on another show. But yeah, definitely I wasn't like obviously beating this game, but I do recall playing it at certain times throughout my teen, my childhood.
This is another. I love this game, but sadly, I never beat this. I never beat the hard mode of this, which is like one of those I need to just sit back and take a weekend and really like do it.
Yeah.
Because I know as an adult I could probably run through it, but as a kid I never beat this all the way through.
Dang.
But this here, this is oh yeah, he's doing the hard difficulty where he had to go the other way. Oh,
Oh
this
yeah,
game here, the
yeah.
different characters
Hopefully.
you were meeting and like for one level, and
Mhm.
the little fox girl that was flirting with the cat girl that was flirting with Star Fox in this game. They had a
Mhm.
whole Independence Day level, which was
Ooh.
just straight from the movie. The strategy, how to beat stuff. This game here was just
I'm always getting like Star Wars vibes from it too, just in terms of like those X-wing
Oh
dogfights.
yeah, 100% Star Wars with the dogfight. 100%. That was my favorite feature. You go down in the water, you had the little waves kick up.
Mhm.
Just this game here, the Rumble Pack was a thing. Like it came.
Yeah,
That
the
came with
Rumble
the
Pack
game.
boy.
The Rumble Pack
Yeah.
came with this. This was the
John, do you
first
remember
game.
that? Do you ever play the 64 with the Rumble Pack where it made this sort of?
I never had the 64.
Okay.
My
You ever?
first game console was the Game Boy Advance. Then I had the
Okay.
PS1, PS2,
All right.
Xbox 360, then PS4, 5.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, I think
This,
like the PlayStation 1 had something similar. They call it like shock control or something like that.
yeah, the
Oh
DualShock.
yeah,
Like
Control the rumble.
this game here
Yeah.
was responsible for a vibrating controller.
Mm.
Games didn't have that before this.
No pun intended.
Yeah,
They were vibrating controllers.
This was the first game that had a vibrating controller.
Looking back.
Yeah. No, I was feeling
man.
those vibrations on those Crash Bandicoot racing games. So
That scene right there, scene right there where like that ship blows up. I remember, I know the sound of my Rumble Pack from shaking from that thing blowing up. Because the Rumble Pack was loud too, because the vibrate technology wasn't, it was the 90s, so the tech wasn't there. When that thing vibrated, you could hear it down the hall. That thing was loud when it would go. Even in your hands, it was loud. If you had it on the table, it was loud. And you had to pick either a memory card or a Rumble Pack because they both went in the same slot in the controller.
Man. Now, John, do you remember, did you ever play part of Star Fox or?
No, that one I didn't get to. In terms of like games that involve like racing or flying, my go-to was always like the Burnout series or Need for Speed Underground 2. That was iconic.
Gotcha.
Like those were like, yeah, I like to stay on the ground for most of my games.
Okay. Yeah, man. This was kind of like Star Fox did have a role, like obviously over the last few years. I don't think there's been a Star Fox game for quite a while. But if you think of like the main PS1, like the top 5 PS1, PlayStation mascot, your Tomb Raider, your Lara Croft, your Crash Bandicoot, or your Mario for 64, definitely Star Fox was in that top 5 conversation. You had Mario, Zelda, Star Fox was like in that top 5.
Oh yeah,
he was a big part of that sort of flagship, like the games you had to get. It wasn't up there with Zelda, Mario, but he was up there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember the multiplayer dogfight mode in this. I was a son of a bitch, and when I was a kid with the multiplayer game in this, it was like GoldenEye. It was 4 players split screen, flying around in the air, shooting each other down. And I was a problem as a kid playing this game. Maybe one of those things that turned me to aviation anyway. But this is bringing back all kinds of memories and stuff. But like iconic game characters, Star Fox is up there in the top of them. They the same way how I don't know what they just were like how the NBA lodges made a mistake and they kind of just fell off and just haven't really recovered since. Star Fox did that where they had the games where they took him out of the plane.
Took him out of the plane. Yeah,
he was like, it was some games for maybe the GameCube where he was running around with a gun. And I was like, no, that's not what Star Fox is. Star Fox is a fighter dog. Put him back in the plane. Like if they make another game where he's actually flying a ship around, I would be first in line to get a Star Fox game for the Switch. I'll be
Yeah,
first
it's
in
been
line.
what, like 10 years? It hasn't been a Star Fox in a while.
Longer than this.
That's
It's
on
probably
Nintendo
longer
Fox,
than that.
you know?
It's been
It was
here.
some kind of dino something. He was running around in like a dinosaur area with a gun and a staff. It was the weirdest. I was like, put him back in the ship. What are we
I'm saying,
doing?
if I'm dealing with dinosaurs, I'm
the series
getting
fell
back
off.
on the ship. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I was like, this Star Fox, put him back in the stars. Why is he running around on a planet?
It's a Star Fox, put it back in the stars. That's a
Yeah, what are we doing here?
That's what I'm doing. Yeah,
Jumping
practice
shark.
coach.
I forgot what the last Star Fox game, what the name of it was, but he was not. It was like one level. He was actually flying around on the ship. I was like, no. We need to put him back here, blowing up stuff. 3D Galaga. That's what this is.
All
Because
right.
this is a big hallway shooter.
Yeah. This is epic. This was once again, it was a game changer. This was one
I
of
can
the
imagine the
flags.
soundtrack too behind this.
Oh yeah,
that's epic. That's going on right here.
Oh yeah, I know this in my head. I know I can hear this level. Some of this stuff is just locked into my memory where I can just hear what's going on. Do a barrel roll, like that was this level. This level was to do a barrel. Wait, was it this one, or is either a barrel or a somersault? One of those two was this level, where Pepe's giving you the instructions on how to do certain things. And you had to keep Sleepy alive because if he died, you couldn't get information on the boss. Sleepy was an absolute pain in the ass. All range mode. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the wings open up. It's go time now.
Oh, it got real.
And now you're in a 3D space. It's not a hallway anymore.
Oh, that's crazy. Did they ever have like a TV show for this? Because this would be an epic TV show.
I would love an animated series of Star Fox.
That's what they choose. They need to bring us in the pitch room because that's probably what they need to.
I might have to move to LA and just start pulling people aside. Like, look, Netflix, look, you want to compete with Game of Thrones? Star Fox with consequences as a series.
At least 2D. This could easily be a good 2D animated series.
Oh yeah,
right? Who got the rights right now? Yeah, I don't think
Sonic
Nintendo got the rights still. Or, you don't know.
Yeah, I would watch this as a cartoon. I would watch this.
You could even make it an anime if you wanted to.
Yeah,
get that mainstream appeal.
All right, Gad. Anything else you want to add to our mighty Star Fox 64?
No, I think I've done enough. Also, the one dumb thing is you see at the bottom of the screen. Yeah. I don't know why, but when people talk, they couldn't animate talking, so they just made people's face vibrate real fast, and that's just that's how they animate talking.
The movement is going like it's not singing with the words, but
that's how they talk. But this game actually had voice acting. A lot of N64 games didn't. It would just be words you had to read. I forgot. Star Fox actually had real voice acting,
voice acting was just bad. I think we could agree across the board. Like throughout the '90s, voice acting was just
you almost became a Jill sandwich.
Oh yeah. The bad lines in this game are some of me and my friends' favorite things to say to each other. Like this, like the boss that just died, he yelled out "cocky little freaks," and me and my homeboy say that to each other all the time.
The cocky little freak.
Yeah, anytime we're mad at somebody, we yell that out. If we're around each other and something makes us mad, cocky little freaks. The voice acting was horrible. The lines were terrible. The voice acting was bad. But this was one of the first games that had real good voice acting for the N64. Because usually it would just be dialogue and you had to read it and click through it, or like Banjo-Kazooie, where instead of voice acting, it was like weird sounds.
I just think because I think still like 80s voice acting was pretty much non-existent for video games. 90s was when it was starting. They were kind of figuring things out.
The PlayStation 1, they were kind of the PlayStation 1, they were kind of like starting to figure it out. That Jill sandwich. That was when they just started figuring it out.
Today is so like prestigious.
They got like mocap. You get actual
back then it wasn't even voice actors. It was just hey, Dan in the county, come read this real quick.
Right, it's so prestige and like lucrative today. You get like famous TV stars, movie stars. They got
they can actually act.
It's a
Some of them are
different.
doing video games instead of actual like shows. Like my man from Stargate, he's Kratos now.
Mm.
He doesn't even
Christopher
need to
Judd,
act
right?
like in a show anymore. He's just the God of War.
Mm. And they put their like likenesses in the characters now too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is
Man.
So yeah, so like I mean, they're getting real. This is the submarine level, but they're getting like real actors to do these to do these shows, and you know, like, and people are basing like the guy from GTA,
Trevor?
Stephen Ogden.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
He's
good old Trevor.
he's basically Trevor in real life,
Yeah, he was in Walking Dead for like a couple
and
of
was
seasons.
playing Trevor in Walking Dead.
Man.
He was playing his GTA. He was being his GTA character in Walking Dead.
Yeah, you get some Oscar level acting too in these
Man.
video games and these
Oh, yeah.
cutscenes too. Like Spider-Man, the end of like the new Spider-Man game, tears in my eyes. I was like, wow, they really had like voices in there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like an A-lister to really do a role in the video game and mean it. That's what I'm waiting on.
I'm trying
Actually, you know what? Kevin Spacey was in one of the Kevin Spacey was in one of the Call of Duties. He was a villain.
Yeah, Advanced Warfare.
Yeah. So, never mind. It's already happened. So they were getting real actors in these games. Oh, the guy Gus from Breaking Bad is in the Far Cry.
Breaking Bad. Oh,
yes,
good Steve Gianna Esposito. I'm trying.
Yes.
Oh,
Gustavo Fringe from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's a Far Cry 4, right?
Yeah.
John Baratheon was the villain in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. He was the main villain in that. So yeah, so actually I take it back. They have been getting big name actors to be in these games in these games now.
Yeah, I'd say since 2010, it's been like people recognizing just the lucrativeness of it. And they've been getting those stars. Like even a lot of TV stars, like from stuff from the 90s, 2000s, they've been pivoting to video games. So like I said, 90s, it was so terrible because they were just trying to figure it out. And voice acting in the 80s was like non-existent for big games. So 2000s got a little better than So I say since 2010, like Red Dead Redemption and like Fallout 3, that started. I think it really started getting better. You know, I say even as early as Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Like late 2000s, they started like, okay, figuring this shit out. You know?
Yeah.
Matter of
fact, in the Call of Duty now,
Leroy, read this line for me. No.
Yeah, one of in the newer Call of Duties now, there's a Middle Eastern woman who's a big character in the games, and she's one of the politicians in The Boys.
Yeah, Victoria Newman's actress.
Yeah.
Funny enough, she's dating Huey in real life too, which is even crazier.
Really?
Yeah, they're a couple.
Wait. Are you talking about Starfire?
No, not Starfire. I'm talking about Victoria Newman and Huey's character, played by Jack Quaid. They're dating each other in real life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Lucky man.
Right. She's cute.
Yeah. Also, too, I'm gonna give an honorable mention to the great Deborah Wilson, comedian from Mad TV back in the day. She had
Star Wars. Yeah,
she was in the Star Wars, the Jedi. What was it called?
Outcast. Was it Jedi Outcast or
Order.
no?
It was like
Fallen Order. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That was great. I watched that gameplay maybe last year sometime.
Oh, I played both of those.
And then they're making them in their likeness too. So it's not just they're voicing this random character. Now, like, see the trend last 10 years, like they're just making them in their likeness.
Like the Jedi, he's from Shameless too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's one of the sons.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he's one of the sons.
I think the second one came out recently. I watched it.
Yeah, I just played. It's so good. It's better than the first one. Cameron
I just started playing the first one about a month ago.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully as we continue these streams, like if there's a game where you have the actual game, like screen share, and you can actually play it in front of us. But if you don't have the game, we can just pull up some gameplay.
Okay.
Once again, guys, great stuff. We're about to hit our last pick. We both did our 2 picks of comedian gameplay commentary. Once again, I'm your host, Hayward Hal Crawford, here with Gad the Bone, as well as Champagne Cena. So, we're going to probably just wrap it after my last pick. So we at least all had 2 picks. Then my goal is eventually we can maybe extend this show where we can allot enough time where we can maybe go toward the 3 hour mark. I got to wrap up the next like 10 minutes or so. But this is my last pick, y'all, and it's a little more recent. I know we had a few old hit titles, but this one's a little more recent to me, a little older now. But I gotta give it up as mainstream and commercial as it is. Like, oh man, why'd you pick that? Or that's too. I still gotta have love for The Walking Dead, so I have to share The Walking Dead Telltale season 1 with Clementine and Lee. This was an epic series. So let me just kind of give y'all the breakdown. Walking Dead Telltale, I think the first one may have came out around season 2 of The Walking Dead. Those guys are already familiar with Walking Dead. Obviously, it was a comic book, adapted it by AMC. Big hit series that just ended recently. So I think what's just so telling about this show is just the animation, the 3D, the environments they create, because a lot of this sort of I forgot what this animation reminds me a lot of that it was like that Keanu Reeves movie a while back called A Scanner Darkly. Remember that? Like Woody Harrelson, Keanu Reeves. It was like this weird sort of paper-like 3D animation vibe. Telltale series.
Yeah, it does look like it looks like a drawing. Everything looks like a drawing.
Yeah, like a drawing, but the storytelling, it kind of does it where you're kind of making these decisions, and it follows Lee, who's this guy, for whatever vague reason, he's getting carried off to jail. And then long story short, there's like the action just starts right away, where he basically ends up, they end up getting in a car crash. It's like, I think they run over a zombie or whatever. So I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a bit here. So the world starts falling apart with what's going on. He ends up stumbling upon this little girl, and yeah, this was just one of those things where there's been sort of choice games like this before, like make a choice and see what path you go, but I don't know, something about this series, and there's been a lot of series since this. They did like about 4 or 5 seasons of this Telltale game that you play and you kind of make these decisions on. But I've never seen anything so close to the essence of like the early parts of the series, like making these decisions. Does this person stay with us? Is that going to sacrifice what we got going on with the group? Do I go after this person, be a good person and save them? Or do I leave them behind? Then that person you left behind comes back later in the show, like, motherfucker, you left me behind, and you end up, because you left me behind, I'm about to try and kill you right now, or you ain't gonna I'm not gonna let you in this new like fortress that I found, and I'm not gonna let you in because you left me behind a season ago. So this, like, he's going through the woods, he ends up stumbling into this house. Like he goes into this backyard, and this is the backyard of Clementine, the little girl who ends up becoming one of the supporting characters of the show. And I'm just going to play this right here because this is just a really epic scene of kind of opening the series where he's now in this new world and he's going inside, and then just the environment of the house is just, I don't know, this is just one of the best sort of like make your own choice type of games I've seen in recent years. I know there's been a lot on different platforms. But anybody has got, go ahead. They want to give their thoughts on the Walking Dead Telltale game and just the epicness of it. If you had experience playing it or hearing about it.
I mean, Telltale literally is the stuff of legend. I think they went out of business recently or something like that. But I still remember playing. I was a big Walking Dead fan, like growing up, like around seasons 2 through 7, and like this game was kind of like out there adjacent too, where it's like different like characters, but like the same level of storytelling and like immersion, like how much you care for these characters. And it was just like, I was watching this too, it's sort of like Lee, and I was like, oh man, it's like getting like the same show, but in different formats of media and just still having like the same effect. It's great.
This was one of those you could play with your girlfriend games. This is 100% your girl. Like, it was like, why don't we do something together? You could put this in, and it's not like an action thing. It's just it's a decision making thing. So she could be right there, like engaged, and it's deep, it's involved. Walking Dead was crazy popular when this dropped. This is if you can find it online and your girl is tired of you playing games all the time and ignoring her, get this. If you've never played, get this game, and the two of y'all can have it. Like, this is a game you can play with popcorn. And she'd be leave that motherfucker at the barn. You could have a whole background, and it's the decision making was, if you made a decision, there was real consequences, and often in this game there was no good choice.
That was the thing.
Somebody was gonna get
really
hurt.
You can make the best bad choice.
Yeah,
bad choices.
There was
the best bad choice.
Yeah, and it will be stuff like, all right, so you can only save one of these people, and it's not like you're saving one good person and one's a jerk. It's two good guys, and you just got to let one of them die.
Or the little kid Duck. Like, I remember just trying to like save Duck as much as I could, or certain characters, and like no matter what,
and then
that character wasn't gonna make it. It was fate,
And trying to save certain characters was going to doom you anyway. Was going to set you back for you trying to say, this consequences, all this. This is definitely a girlfriend game.
Man, I never thought about that. That may have saved me a little bit of. That's a bar.
If you spark this up, if you having some little problems in the y'all two together, like what my old ex, we would play LA Noire together.
Okay.
And I wasn't, they had that facial. Yeah, no, 360.
Okay.
They had the face like you were being a detective, and they had the face recognition technology in it. So you'd be interviewing somebody, you had to figure out they were lying or not. I could never tell, but she knew every time this guy's lying, this guy's telling the truth. And she was a great detective, which is probably why we're not together now. But yeah, but this game here was that.
And the thing is, since then they actually have a video game that was made for couples that came out recently called It Takes Two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it's literally about like a couple that's like having an issues with each other, and I guess they get transported into a video game. And you can play with her, and the thing is like there are different types of video games where it's like puzzles, like adventures, or kind of like you need both of you guys to get through to the level.
Gotcha.
So, like, you have to work together to get from point A to point B.
Oh.
It literally takes two. Yeah.
Wow. Good. Okay. I might have to write those down for the next time I get a somebody on my arm to be bugging me.
Right. Hey, it saves money on date night too.
Oh yeah. Oh no. It's like this Walking Dead game. This and a little dinner. You got an evening.
Man, because it starts to get her kind of think. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Or a little.
It gets the mind, the critical mind going, and just making decisions, and
it's an adventure.
Really into the story, the emotion. We like all the action, the blowing up.
And this slows that all down, and you gotta focus on the story.
Yeah, I remember playing Tales of the Borderlands. That was another game that Telltale made, and
I
was like in the middle of college. Like it was free for PlayStation Plus, which is now most games are.
Oh,
and one of the best games I played, like top 5 I've ever experienced. And it wasn't like I was shooting anybody. It was just like decision making like this.
Oh, he's cut my man. I never got this far in the game. Jiminy Crickets.
Oh. Yeah, he's really
that. So
yeah, that's gone now.
And he probably ain't gonna live much longer, but
I
remember these characters. Even though I watched his gameplay like almost 10 years ago. You remember the character? Like, oh man, I wish I saved this one. Or this one ended up coming back like a season later, pissed off. Like,
oh really? That guy?
That's funny.
Oh man. So is anybody? So who played? Everyone just play season 1, or how far did you get? I got as far as Spoiler alert. Does anybody mind spoilers? Series for this Telltale?
You can go right ahead with me.
Yeah, I got all the way till past Lee, when Lee passed, and Clementine was like growing up, And I think it was maybe one of the final seasons where Clementine had kind of came into her own as like a young adult teenager.
Okay.
And she was kind of holding her own, and then she basically was she was like caring for the baby of one of the adult survivors when she was a kid. Adult survivor. She ended up, the father and mother ended up dying, like at some point in the series. Oh, this is epic right here, even.
You know what? I'm gonna see if my mother wants to play this. This may be something my mom would be into.
Man.
This game, because she likes playing certain games. I think she might be into it. I never thought about putting her on this. She might like this.
Yeah, she just might,
And she's obsessed with The Last of Us. She watched that show.
Yeah, I was about to say the same vibe going on too in terms of
my
like
mother I might have to tell my mother about these Telltale games. I might have to get these and have my mom spark up my 360 and play these. The furthest I got was I was still in the first season, so I think I was stuck in like a liquor store and I couldn't get out the liquor store. I think that's where I was at, or a convenience. It was like
I didn't even play it. I ended up watching it. I watched the Telltale season.
Yeah, I was just past. They were like just past that farm that we saw for a second. The next thing, they were in a town inside of like a drugstore, liquor store. They were inside like a little corner store, and that was like the furthest I got.
John, what about you? How far did you get with this series?
I just watched like the first season because I didn't own the game, but I watched it because, like I said, it was the biggest thing going on at that time.
Yeah,
like,
this came out. Man.
It's like 2011, right? Or
this was, I think, 2012, 2013.
That sounds about right. That sounds
around third season, around the second, third season of the show. Man.
Okay, yeah, because that was like on the radio. Yeah.
I might have to pick these up and then give them to my mom and see if she'd be into these.
I think
it's a great watch. I mean, she literally doesn't want to do anything. She could literally just watch them.
No. She'll play this. She plays. What's the game on the Switch where they're on that island?
Oh, Animal Crossing.
She plays that religiously.
Yeah,
she plays that every day. Man. So so the action part wouldn't be a big thing, but she'll be deep into this story. She'll be drawn into this.
Yeah, it gets you in, like characters,
anything with good writing. Like she just like 2 days ago she went out and bought the Game of Thrones books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bought because she's into House of Dragons, so she went and bought the books. So anything that's well written, she's deep into it. So yeah, she would like this.
Yeah, great memories. All right, y'all. That's all I got. Everybody, I'd like to thank you for watching Comedian Video Game Commentary. Probably gonna wrap it up there. I believe that we're gonna be returning every 2 weeks. So this will be a bi-weekly show. So our next episode is gonna be on Sunday, August 11th. Our hope is kind of based on my work schedule and things. I want to eventually maybe get us back to doing Fridays and Sundays. So instead of we won't do a Friday and a Sunday the same weekend. It'll either be like a Friday here, Sunday there, kind of switch it up. But yeah, man, I hope you guys had a good time. John, this is your first show. Any thoughts, man? Great to have you here. You had some great commentary to share.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And now I have a whole new list of games I need to check out.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can do themes. We can maybe do full theme shows where we can kind of go in on like an EA Sports or just a whole console. We just talk about all the consoles of games. A lot of different ways we can kind of go at it, But at its core, if you got a video game pick, we talk about that. So, Gad, welcome back again.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, any thoughts as we wrap up here? We'll be returning in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. Appreciate you shouting me out back in Detroit. I know you guys are still on the West Coast, but if you see on my screen, it's gotten progressively darker as this episode went on. You guys still got a little bit of light. Sun is set. It's 8:30 out this way, so it's starting to get dark. But no, I appreciate you guys having me. I'm about to scoot on to my little midnight shift job and mess up my sleep schedule some more.
Okay.
But yeah. Gad to the Bone on Instagram, Gad Holland, Google that. You'll find me on all my stand-up comedy stuff. Not hard to find.
All right, awesome. And once again, guys, you can follow us at Comedian Video Game Commentary on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and Kick. And you can also follow highlights on IG and TikTok. Be sure to give us a share, like, follow. Follow these guys at Champagne Scene as well as at Gad to the Bone. And we will see you guys next time. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead. We can go off video, cue up the music, and we'll kind of let it ride out. So, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time on Comedian Video Game Commentary. We out.